everybody, welcome back to my channel Made with Love. My name is Heather and today I am going to show you how to make a witch's gnome. So you can see I've got my little gnomes shirt on and they're all Halloween, so they're all dressed as witches. So I'm going to make the witch's gnome. So it's very simple things to need. For the base of this, I'm going to be using a pool noodle. I'm not quite sure how long I'm going to need the body to be at the moment. I'm just gonna set this aside so it doesn't roll off the table until I need it. I also have this. This is one of those little headbands. It's broken. The headband is long gone. The lace is all like damaged, and I was gonna, take the lace off, but I think I'm gonna leave the lace kind of damaged looking because it just kind of adds to the age of it, and I had to fix some spots where the feathers were kind of coming out. So this is going to be the hat. So I don't even have to make a hat for my witch. She's already going to be wearing this hat. And then because the hat is purple, where did I just dropped stuff? Okay, I'm going to be using, I had this roll and I had another roll of black mesh. It was just sitting right here. Okay, but I've got this purple deco mesh. This is just from the Dollar Tree, so $1.25 or $1.50 for a roll of this, and I thought it was the perfect purple to match her hat. So I'll be making her cape out of this and the black deco mesh, which it was just sitting right in front of me. I'm just trying to move extra things. Oh, there it is. Yes, it is. It just kind of rolled onto the chair. So this is just the black deco mesh. So I can do the black underneath and then the purple over top just to fill in. And then for the body part, to cover up the pool noodle, I like to use socks. I just don't have any dark, heavy socks. So I just got some material here, so I'm just going to be covering it in just a piece of dark gray cloth. I'm just trying to use what I have so I don't have to go out and buy anything. I know a pair of socks is not expensive, but at the moment I just make an extra trip to the dollar store and I realize I don't have any dark socks that would work for this particular color scheme. And I will also be making the boots. So to make her shoes, I start with these little party favors little booties. They were in the baby shower wedding section of my Dollar Tree. You get 6 pairs when they have them. It's been a long time since they've had any, so I do have some. So you got them in packs of pink or packs of blue, and you get 6 in a pack. And I also am going to weigh mine down. So I've got my little tub of gravel or sand or something just to fill this front part in, and then you put cardboard, or I usually do a heavy felt piece of heavy felt on the bottom, and then I will show you how to make these look like witches' shoes. And I've got this, and I've not seen these for a long time. I got this last fall or the year before. I think it might have been 2 years ago now. I found this. It's synthetic leather. You get a pack of 5. I've only got 4 in here. I think the 5th color was yellow, I believe. No, it was the black, because I don't have the black here. That's what I've got. So you got a tan, a red, a navy blue, a brown, and then the black. So I'm going to be using the brown. I guess it's blue. I can just see the difference in the color. So this one is brown. So I guess I'll be using the brown one. Okay. And then to decorate, I'm also going to be using the purple mesh bling wrap, just cutting up a strip of it to go around the shoe, but I will get to that when I'm doing the shoes. So first things first is I have to decide how tall I want her to be. So her hat is quite tall, so I'm just going to use this. I've got this jar of spray paint can just so I get in height. So I want to make sure that the veil does touch the ground. It will kind of cover her body, but I don't want it too short and I don't want it too tall. So I think I need to cut the body to be about the size of this spray paint can. So I'm just gonna do this. And I've got my knife here. And just start it and then set this down. And I'll just so I don't even know how tall she's going to be. I don't have a, oh, maybe, actually I do have a ruler in front of me. This mat does have a ruler. Okay. I don't know, is it in centimeters? Yeah, it's in centimeters. So she's about 21 centimeters. I don't know, to figure out how long that is in inches for anybody who does the other system, but so about 21 centimeters tall. And then when I add my hat, I just want to make sure that it's a good height. Yeah, that's a good height. Because I can always play around with how high or low I want to put the hat on her, depending on how much of this veil I want to hang on the ground. So set the hat aside. So now I'm just going to grab my material here. This is not just any material. This is actually just a pair of yoga pants that are just wrecked, that I can't repair this type of material. So I just thought it's a good material for some type of craft, and I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to be covering. And my cat is under my table playing with stuff. Hey, I'll be right back. Yeah, sorry about that. My cat found a ball of yarn and he was just trying to chew it all up. And I guess a brand new thing of yarn. So just don't need him wrecking stuff. Okay, so this will fit this pant leg. Yeah, that's enough material. So I'm just going to cut this pant leg off. These will rip when you don't want them to, and then when you want them to cut, this material doesn't want to get cut. Okay. It's going to be more than enough material to cover this. Okay. I'm just trying to right now, just trying to use up whatever bits of crafting supplies I have around my house before I go out and buy anything new. I just want to kind of use up what I've got around the house. I've got so much crafting supplies and it's just don't have like a lot of extra cash to go out and purchase a whole bunch of new stuff, especially if the prices are kind of going up. Dollarama's prices are going up to like $5 an item, and Dollar Tree is going up to $1.50 an item. It's just a couple dollars more, but it makes such a big difference overall. So I've seen a lot of things I'd like to buy, but decided not to. I'm just kind of, if I need any specific supplies for a specific craft, then I might purchase something here or there. But right now, I've got so much craft stuff I got to use up. I've had over the years. Oh, I bought, I know it was like 6-7 years ago, I bought so much stuff to do some Halloween crafts, and I have not used any of it up. So I said, I spent all that money and I haven't even opened. I've got packages and bags of stuff from the dollar store still in the bags. And I don't even know what's in them still. So I've decided that I'm going to, for the next quite a few months, I'm just going to use up all the product that I have purchased over the years and only go out and get anything that I need, like a specific item. Like I've got so much material, scrap material, that I don't think I need to buy material unless I'm looking for a very specific thing. I'm also trying to get more into sewing. So I've got quite a few projects that I would like to do, just to kind of use my sewing machine again. And my new one I got last year for Christmas. I guess it's almost Christmas now, and I've only used it, I think I've only made 3 things on it all year. I know I've got a lot of this glue, this hot glue. It's kind of coming apart on me, so I will recover this. In fact, I think this might end up being the front or the back, just depends on how much of this I can kind of hide. As I pull this a little tighter, as I pull this material tighter, if I can just kind of pull this a little tighter, and I'll figure out when I do the cape, I can get some of this extra glue to just come off, because it was rolling around. And but that is the basic body for my witch for now. I'm just going to glue this up here. I didn't need to cover all the way at the top because the hat's going to be there, but I do want a nice flat bottom for the shoes to sit on. Oh, the cat's back in the craft room. He's digging through bags and trying to pull stuff out. I don't know what he's got this time. Yeah, he's got himself in the corner where I can't reach him. He's got his back turned to me. I don't know what he found. But I can hear him trying to chew something or scratch something. Now he's crawling in the bags of stuff I just bought. I've got birthday and Christmas presents in my craft room too. So I've got bags with other items in it, and he's digging through those bags. Okay, I've got this done for now. So now I'm just going to set this aside. I'm going to decide which way I want for the top and which way I want the bottom. I might use this as the bottom. I might just put a piece of a piece of material here, just so I've got a nicer flat edge, or I might just leave it blank. I just have to figure out for the feet. So I'm just going to set the body aside. I think I'm going to put dowels for the feet. So if I do decide to do the dowels to give her legs just a little higher, then I'm going to just save this like this. This will be the bottom, this will be the top. So it's all sewn in, all this extra fabric, so the hat's going to be up there. So this will be the bottom. You kind of like, as you're working on this, you're deciding which is the top, which is the bottom, which is the front, which is the back. Same with like this back seam right here. I know it's really bad right now. I'm going to get rid of some of this, all this extra glue that's all over my acrylics, and on this material I will, get my blow dryer and kind of melt this down a little bit and wipe it off a little bit, so it's a little bit neater. So I can't even, just the way it's all glued onto the foam, I can't even peel it off, or I'm gonna make a big mess. So I think, I don't know, I haven't decided if this would be the front or the back. It just depends on how I make her cape and how that looks. But I'm just going to set that aside because I think I'm going to go to the shoes. So I'm gonna make the shoes now. So I just have to grab my little bag of sand because I don't have it here. That just means it's just on the shelf. I can't reach from here, so I'll just be back. All right, I am back. So I did grab my measuring tape here just so I can measure this quickly and let you know that it is about 8.5 inches for my body of my gnome. And then it works out to be about 21 inches, or I mean no 21, okay, I can't even speak, about 21 centimeters, or about 8 inches is this height of the body. So now I'm going to be working on the feet. So what you want to do is, these are probably pretty standard size, but just in case you can't find these exact little party favors, and there's different places you can get different baby booties and stuff. So to make my template, or the square piece of material that I will need, I'm just going to quickly measure around the shoe, and it comes out to about 5 1/4. About 5 1/4 inches around. So I'm going to go to the 6 inch because I like a little bit of leeway to give a nice seam in the back. Also, I'd rather cut a little bit too big than too small, just so it would fit. And then the boot height, it's about 1 inch high. So you decide, well, how tall do you want your boots to be? The tallest ones I ever made were about 3 inches, so it was a pretty good height. I do a lot of the 2 inch, and you can do 1.5 inch if you wanted to stick with something lower. So I think I'm going to go with the 1.5 inch. So I'm going to cut out 2 pieces of material, or I'm going to use this brown faux leather. I'm going to cut out 2 rectangles, 6 inches by 1.5 inch. So I'm going to get a nice strip. I'm just going to see how long that's 8. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out how big my piece of fabric is. It's about 7.5 by 8 inches is how big this piece is. But it's not cut perfectly. It's a little off. So I'm just going to find my 6 inch mark here. I have no pens in my craft room, so I'm just going to put a little cut, my X-Acto knife, so I know right where the 6 inches is. And then I need it, I said 1.5. So I'm going to go up to the 3 inches, so I may cut 1 strip and then I can just cut it in half. This, just make a little mark right here. There. So I'm just going to cut out my little square. This material just wants to really curl up. What is really easy to cut is faux leather I've got here. So I've got my rectangle of material, so I'm just going to make sure that it's going to cover this boot, and it does, and it gives me a nice where I can fold it in, and I'm going to get a really nice seam up the back of the boot. And then I'm just going to fold it in half and cut this in half, so my boots are going to be that tall. So you can see, not much taller than the bootie itself, but just a little bit of height. So I got these 2 strips ready. And then the other thing is I've got my sand or pebbles. This one is sand. I like this one's okay. I prefer the little bit bigger gravel than to the sand. I find the gravel feels like it's heavier and more sturdy, but this is what I have. So this is what I'm going to use today. So it's just this decorative sand. Just buy these at the dollar store. I don't know if this is from Dollar Tree or Dollarama. It doesn't say anything, so I'm guessing, because it doesn't say, because usually Dollarama has their price tags on here, unless it's an older item. So probably Dollar Tree, but for between $1.50 to $2 for a nice big bag of this decorative sand or the small pebbles do work good for this. And then for the bottom, I've got a piece of felt. I usually do a dark gray or black, but I like the thicker felt, not so much the thin stuff that just bends easily. I like something that's got a little bit more thickness to it. And all I have right now is just this piece of this white. So I'm just going to, again, just going to cut myself a square. Just going to cut myself off a square piece here, and then I will cut out a second piece. I used to try to trace it around and cut out these oval shapes. Then what I find was it's actually just easier just to do the basic square or rectangle, and then once it's filled and you're doing the, oops, didn't cut that all the way through. Okay, once it's filled and you're doing your extra trimming, it's easier to do that. So it's just easier to have a piece that fits over here a little bit bigger and then do the final trim. Otherwise, I found when I tried to trace and cut, if I cut crooked, then I would not be able to cover the whole bottom, and I have like little gaps around, which are easy to fill in with hot glue. But I find if I just start with the piece that is wider than the bottom of the booty, then I can fill it in with the sand, glue this on, let this have time to dry, and then do a final trimming. Because I always found, or sometimes I would have to do a final trimming anyways. So it's just faster if you just save for all the trimming for at the end. So now I'm just going to open my sand, and I've got a little mason jar right beside me, so I can just pour the extra sand into the jar right now. I'm going to do that just because otherwise I know I'm going to spill this bag of sand, and I'm going to have sand everywhere. And it's not a lot of sand that requires to fill up this booty. So I'm just going to dip the booty into the sand. This is like the most messy part I do of any crafts, is when I make my booties for my gnomes. Got the sand in. Okay, I can use a little more on that side. Okay. And then I'm just going to, the other thing I do, oops, let me just move this jar out of the way, is when I go to glue this down, I put glue right across, and I'll even put glue right across where the sand is, so then the glue will help hold the sand in as well. I don't want any glue kind of going up the side of the booty. I'm just going to take my felt and just push it in place. I'm just going to upside down and just kind of squeeze it. I've got glue everywhere. Put a little bit too much glue, but you can see now where the booty is that I still have a little bit I'm going to have to trim. So it's easier to just cut a little bit bigger and then trim at the end rather than trying to get the right size, because if you go too small, then you don't have enough material for the glue to attach, or for the material to be glued onto the booty. That one is pretty much done, because the other thing is, like, when I glue on the material, I will go over top and glue the material right over the bit of the felt too. That one's done. This, I don't know, this glue gun is just running extra hot the last few days. I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know if it's running hot or if it's just my acrylics or, I don't know. Or if it's this cheap dollar store glue sticks. Every once in a while, I'll have a few glue sticks where they just seem to burn faster and disappear faster and barely do anything. And I got the glue sticks that don't want to melt. So I'm not quite sure what exactly is the problem. But lately, I seem to be going through a few more glue sticks than I normally would. So I think I'm going to plug in my other glue gun and see if it's these cheap glue sticks. Because I had bought some glue sticks from a dollar store around town and they were a really good price. Like I figured out, I think it was, I got 100 glue sticks for $5. Can't beat that price, but I found that the glue was just really harder to work with. So I think this might be one of the last few glue sticks from that because it's just all really stringy. And I can't even pull it apart because when I pull that, then it just, more glue wants to come off and it just wants to go in string. I just gotta make sure I get glue, enough glue on there. See this one, I do know I did cut this one a little short. I can tell the way it's gluing on. There. Just press down to make a nice, more even. Some of this extra glue, just wipe it away. A little more glue in this spot here. Okay, I'm gonna set that one aside and I'm gonna just trim this one off. Like I said, don't have to trim perfectly because the other stuff is gonna cover it. I do want to trim it so that it fits a little bit nicer. So even that just looks like a really nice, cute little booty on its own. Like even if you just didn't want to do anything to the boot, if you like the blue plastic, just by adding that piece of felt, just kind of makes it look a little bit more expensive than just a solid blue plastic booty. So I'm just gonna see this one. I'm gonna trim this off because now I can start making the boot, and this goes really fast. Once you get this part done, so I think the sand part and doing the sole part of the booty takes the most amount of time. So the next step is just, well, next step is easy. I just gotta find my strip of material. Now, I've seen people not really care, but I like to make really nice seams up the back of the boots like this. And so one is you flip the one over top and then you get this way it curls, and it's like, I like to have like one going one direction, so you get like a left and a right back of the shoe. So I will show you what I mean as I do this, but sometimes I even get this confused. So I'm going to start them both at the same time just so I know which way, so I can explain it. So I've got this on here, and I'm going to rotate this one piece with the material right here, right against the edge, and goes up. And so I'm going to have this one, I'm going to rotate from the right around. Oops. And then this one, I'm going to put this glue in the exact same spot, but I'm going to go from the left and around. And then I get these different seams, and I'll show you what I mean when I get them done at the end. And then the seams will the seam will be a little different at the back, and you'll have a definite left and right shoe. Okay, So then all I do is just put glue right over top of this whole blue plastic booty and just wrap it around. You want to kind of keep it so you're nice at the bottom. Kind of don't want it to slide. I just kind of slid. Just come right around the front of the booty. Just roll it around, and then this side. I'm going to stop right there. I got to add another glue stick. And I will show what I mean when I do this. So you see how this wants to flip over the booty this way. So I'm going to make a nice clean fold right in half. So I'm going to put a strip of glue right in the center here, and I'm going to fold this material onto this one and glue it in on itself so I get this little tab. And then I'm going to do it, I'm going to put glue right here, and I'm going to fold this in again on itself in half and fold that over. Didn't quite work. Sometimes it works, sometimes this just slides. It needs a little more glue. Just got to hold it in place a few seconds longer. But I get this nice seam up the back. And I can see right where it didn't want to go. I'm just going to a little more glue. Wiping off the extra glue that kind of just came out, but then I get this nice seam up the back. And then to finish off the front, I'm just going to put glue down on the front and just push this in, and these will just be flipped right over top of itself, so you get this at the front. A little dab of glue right there, because I want to keep these shoes short. So then the next thing is even up here, you just glue in and just fold this top fabric down inside the boot. So these would be shorter shoes. As I always think of like, which is not really wearing like really tall like boots. Their shoes are pretty like ankle height shoes in cartoons. You know, but which is just kind of wear just basic little old shoes. This little flap here, just a little too long. I'm just going to trim that off. When I bent it, it kind of went crooked. Just going to trim that. So there is that shoe. I'm just going to wait for some of this glue to dry. And I'm not so worried about a little bit of this blue showing through right here at the moment, because I'm going to put something on the shoe. So I'm just going to set that one aside. I'm just going to do this one, same thing. This one I'm going to go a little bit faster. Just put the glue and wrap it around. A little bit of glue around the front and go right around. The back, right around. Just put a little bit of glue right down there and fold this tab in on itself. of glue here, right where the seam would be. Just again, kind of fold this in on itself just so you get this nice seam coming up the back. The thing about this faux leather is this glue, when it's still warm, just kind of rubs right off of it. It doesn't leave the residue stickiness like on other materials. So I'm just going to put the glue right down in the front, at the front of the booty, and then just right in the center when you press up. And then this side will fold down and the other side will fold down. And just a little bit of glue in there just so the flaps fold down on each other. And then just gonna tuck this all in and glue that into place. So there are the shoes, and then because I've got the seams, you can tell which one is the left and which one is the right. And I will fix this because it's got a little bit too much glue right there. So I will clean the glue up off camera. But I'm just going to leave them like that for this now, and I'm just going to grab the purple bling wrap. Oh, here it is, because I do want to add something fancy to the shoe. Well, I think I'm just going to have to re-glue this shoe down in place. There, that's a lot neater. Okay, so I just got to figure out how much bling wrap I will need. I've got all these little glue gun strings everywhere. I will be cleaning all this up in a minute too. Just gonna trim this off. And to make it look really neat, I'm trying to trim all these extra little things off as much as possible. I'm going to start at the back. I'm going to start right where the seam is. So whatever side the seam is on, I'm starting right next to it. So I know which way to glue. That slid right there. I'm just going to get this purple bling right around the bottom of the shoe. Now on this one, I didn't cut all these little spiky things off. I will in a minute. I'm just showing you how it's going to look when I get it all glued on. So that is what the shoes will look like. So I'm just going to finish these off camera because I got to take that one shoe apart because the glue is all clumped. And I'm going to just trim this up so the bling wrap is a lot neater. So I will be back when I get the shoes done and we're ready for the next step. All right, so I've got both the shoes finished. I kind of had to fix it. Now it's this one, just the way the glue is, it didn't, I don't know, my glue is clumping funny, so it's a little funny, but that's okay. I figure once the gnome is finished, nobody's gonna really see the this top part of the shoes. I might even just take, oh, I've got some of this faux fur. I think I was going to put a little bit of faux fur on up here, or I might put some more bling wrap around up here. But I'm just going to finish with the legs. Now, normally I use chopsticks or wooden dowels. I can't find them, but I've got these straws from, I think these probably from McDonald's, and they are these paper straws. They don't work for anything. You can get maybe like a sip or two and then the straw falls apart. So I'm actually going to cut this in half. I'm just going to measure. I don't even know how long these straws are, but it's about the size of the dowels that I use. Okay, so it's 9 inches. So the 4.5 is where I have to cut. I have this knife still here from the kitchen. I gotta go put it back. About even. Oops, I guess it's not as even as I thought it was. I kind of cut crooked, so I will just set this down. I'm just gonna even it out. There, just cut the extra little piece off. So now I've got her legs. Will be just these, and I'll just get them in here. And I'm just gonna take the same material I had before. Just a piece of this sweat pants or yoga pants. So I will just cover these straws the same way I did for her body. So I'll do that off camera just because some of it is time consuming, gluing every little thing. But in here, and to help for her legs to stand up, I've got an odd chunk of floral foam. It's been well used. I try to reuse my floral foam as much as possible. I'm just going to cut some of that off, making sure I get a piece that will fit in here. So I just kind of stuff the floral foam in. See, now with the floral foam in there, you can't even tell that the top of the shoe is kind of a little funny, or the material didn't go all the way inside. This one too. I'm just going to push this floral foam in, and then just don't want to cut the leather part. I just kind of push it in. I'm just going to clean it off a little bit. See, this is the one that I was having trouble gluing together. This is the one I actually took apart and redid the whole shoe. Floral foam bits kind of stuck in the front part of the shoe, but I will clean that up in a minute. But see, now you can't even tell that the leather strip was cut funny, and I didn't get it tucked all the way down inside. But you can still see there's a little chunk of the blue plastic, just because the way I pulled the material, I kind of glued it, and I just didn't quite have it quite lined up right. It happens, you make these. I've made these shoes for a couple of years now, and I still find every once in a while I'll rush myself and I'll make a mistake. And I said, it's okay. It's fun to craft and little mistakes happen. So, try to fix it. I mean, if it was, if it wasn't just for my display, I probably would just have just gotten a new one of these little booties and recut the faux leather and just redone it completely. But this is just going to be sitting in my own home, so I wasn't too worried about that. Even this one, you've got some of this glue that kind of leaked through at the back, and I did my best to wipe it off, but it's still there a little bit. I may just take a this is brown, a little bit of a brown marker, and just kind of color the little strip here, just so you don't notice the little bit of the glue as much. But again, this is the back of the shoes. Her skirt and everything should hide that part, and it's just decoration in my own home. So now I've got floral foam all over my hand and all over everything. So like I said, so when I get these covered, then I can just push these in, and so that will be her legs. So now I'm just going to set the shoes aside for a moment, because I'm going to have to find her. And I said, so I'm going to use this as the bottom. So now I've got this big hole here. I don't think I need that big of a hole, but I just want to see if I'm trying to do this just before I cover these, just so I know that I can get those in and just see where they're going to be. See, like that. So I guess it will work. I think maybe it will work. Is it too high? No, it's not going to work. It's going to be kind of crooked. It's going to pull them in. So I have to make holes as to where I want her legs to sit. I have to go see what that noise is. I will be right back. All right, sorry, I just had to go check because I hear this funny little chirping sound. The other wall on the other side of my craft room is the laundry room, so the dryer is making a funny squeaking sound. I had to go check only because I've got 2 cats, and sometime between last fall and this spring, one has brought a mouse into the house and the other one brought a bird into the house. So I hear this little squeaking. I had to go make sure my animals haven't brought anything into my house. Okay, so I'm just lining these up so I know right where I want the legs to go, because I need that space. So I don't want the shoes to sit funny. I want the legs to sit straight. So for this to sit straight, so then I'm going to, oops, got it upside down, there and there. So I'm going to make a hole on either side of this big hole here. So I'm just going to grab my craft knife. I'm just going to make a hole there and right on the other side here. Going to, before I do the legs, before I covered the legs, I wanted to make sure that I can get these centered so then it looks right. Okay. There, now her legs will be better. And I said they're a little crooked. That's okay, I've got to play around with this to get these a little bit more centered. There, I think it's a little bit better. I'm at a funny angle. I don't know what kind of the camera angle is, but that looks a little bit better. So now I can cover the legs. And I'm going to be working on her skirt. So I'm just going to leave this set up like this. I know I had said I was going to make a cloak, and then I realized, no, this is my girl Gnome. She's not going to have a cloak. I'm going to give her a nice skirt. So I just need to know how much of this, or how long. I want this to come down, so I have to figure out her hat, where her hat comes. I'm just going to tuck this black veil into her hat for just a moment. I just need to know where her hat sits. Okay, let me just move this up a little. So her hat sits about there, so I need her skirt to come way up here. So I'm going to do a couple layers of the skirt, so I'm just trying to figure out about how many layers to do. So I'm just going to wrap this around a couple times loosely just so I can see. So there's 1 layer and 2. So I'm going to be making each layer separately. So I'll probably do 3 layers of, what's this? So for 1 layer, it's just all tangled. So I will probably do about 3 layers in the purple, and then I'll do 1 or 2 in the black as well. So I'll do like black on the bottom, and then I'll probably go black, purple, or purple. I don't know. I'll figure it out, but I just need to know approximately what's the most I need to go around each one. So about there. I'm just gonna quickly kind of measure this so I know about how much. Looks like each. This is not working. This is not the inches side. It's so hard when my inches side is on that side. Okay, so go from here. This line, follow this line up. It looks like about 10 inches. So I'll be cutting some bunch of strips at about 10 inches. Then I can get her skirt made. Flip this around. So about 10 inches. I'm gonna find the edge here. There, yeah, I'll do 10 inches. Approximately. This bunch of tools a couple years old, and it's been pulled and tangled, and so I don't mind if it's not exact, because I kind of like having, you know, like to have a little bit of leeway to make each part of her skirt. So I'll just be making a very basic, simple, easy wrap skirt and just kind of layering it up. So one layer and then the other layer, and just slowly, as I build up each layer for her dress or her skirt, whatever, just be really nice looking. But this is all tangled, hard to work with when it's like this. Is just some end piece to a larger, you know, this was from the dollar store, but just got all pulled and twisted, and I've, you know, just trying to whatever's putting it back on the spool, but then it tangles, it catches on everything, and when you pull it tight or pull it on an angle, it does funny things too. I'm just cutting a strip. I don't know how, I'm just going to cut a bunch of these because I'm not quite sure exactly how I'm going to be making her skirt. I'm just kind of, I just thought it'd be fun to make. And I do remember that one I had made, the little girl gnome, and when I had put, I had used the tool. It wasn't this, it was the other tool, and I had it in strips, and I had used a hair elastic. I used a hair elastic, and then I did that where you pull it like this through, and then, I don't know, I just need a bigger piece. Kind of just pulled it through, and then you pull it through again, and you just kind of like, I don't know, you get that knot looking thing, and you got the knot up here, the hair elastic, and then you get whatever comes down, and it looks really, really good. So maybe, if I can't find my tool at the moment, so that's why I'm using this, but I might consider doing something a little different actually. Let's see if I do some little bunch of things and just make her skirt out of a bunch of little, like I would do if I was making my wreaths with these little things, these little bundles like this maybe. I don't know, I'm just going to cut a bunch of this tool and play around with it, and I'll cover the legs, and I'll be back because I'm just not quite sure what I was going to do. I had an idea, and then as I'm cutting, I'm like, this is more see-through than I realized. And I'm like, I don't want to just have a whole bunch of these little strips all lined up. It may not look very good. I may just do something completely different. So I will be back in just a few moments when I figure out exactly what I'm going to do. All right, so I've got the one leg made. So this is out of that yoga pants. So this is the very bottom of the leg where it's already got the nice sew-in seams. So I just cut where I'd get the nice seams, and then I'm just going to glue this around. So then on her pants, she'd get these nice, it's all like a nice cuff, and then a nice inseam. So I'm going to do the show on this one. So I figure out where my camera is going to tip because I just bumped it. I'm just trying to lower my camera so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm using, so this is the bottom of the yoga pants, so it's all seamed there, and then there's this sew inside up here for the seam. So I'm using this as the inseam. So I'm going to, see if I remember how I did this. I'm just going to take my hot glue and I'm just going to put a little bit of, well, first I got to figure out where I got to make sure that I've got enough of this that it's going to do that. Okay, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue just right around the top edge of this shoe. I want the seam to be about there. So I'm just going to take this and just wrap it around that way and flip this over and pull this up and put a little bit of glue right here and going up a little bit and just fold this over like that. So now the pant leg is now stuck to the shoe and it's, I'm just gonna, there's this, the edge of the straw. I just went a little bit above the straw. So I didn't cut this until I knew how much I needed, and now I'm just gonna glue the seam here together. Put some glue along this inside of where the seam is, and just glue the pant leg down like that. So now I've got both of her legs done, her feet and her legs. Like I said, so I made this like an inseam. So now I'm just going to, okay, just trying to get some of this stuff out. Just want to make sure that the legs are not attached to the stick because I didn't want that attached, and this one dried, so some of the the one I did earlier, I've got a strip of glue stuck to the, I'm just gonna pull the legs, the pants down, and I'm just gonna bring body back over. It's stuck on lots of things. I just want to get this done first. So one there, one there. Like that. So now she's got pants, or I guess socks, or whatever you want to call it. So I guess it's not really pants because I'm going to give her a dress. So I guess it would be like stockings. And I'm just going to glue this on here so it will kind of so they will stay up, and they'll also hide a little bit more of the blue pool noodle. I'm going to do the back side, just pull this up, pull this one up, and just go around and do the same to the front. So then there, so now she's got, her legs are glued in place, and she's got these slouchy socks on. It's okay, I mean, it looks kind of interesting. I'll just be playing around with that and just trying to, just gotta glue this one into place. So it's not quite where I want it. There. There, looks a little better. It's okay because I'm making her skirt, and so her skirt is gonna hide a lot of this. I've got all these little strings. Do another little bit of glue because I can see it's just not sticking here at the back. So I'm just going to put a little more glue and glue this one up there. There, I think that looks, oh, that looks a lot better, a lot neater now. That's what I was trying to do, trying to get it. Like I said, I'm not too worried about the strings, the glue strings, or the back here full of glue. and I glue on the skirt, which is what I'm going to work on now, then you won't even see most of this. So like I said, I had this pack. It was a half a roll of the purple and a full roll of the black. So what I decided to do is taking this, just a basic hair elastic, and I'm just putting it on here. I kind of figured out where I've decided kind of like how far down her hat's gonna go. So I've got my McDonald's coffee in the way. I'm just trying to angle so you can see, and then okay, there. Okay, that's a little bit better. So like I said, I had a whole roll of the purple, or a whole roll of the black mesh and half a roll of the purple mesh. So I cut them into about 10-inch strips. So now I'm going to make her skirt. I'm doing it very easy, the easiest way I can do this. So I'm just taking each of these little curls here, and I'm just going to take the top of one and the bottom of the other, so diagonal. So I pull it like this. So then I get this little curly thing, and I'm just going to tuck it up underneath the hair elastic. So that would be like the start of her skirt. So I'm just going to do a couple of these. I had this kind of done earlier, and then I took it apart so I could show this step to make sure I liked how it was working. So that's all I'm going to do. I'll put a few more in. So these are already twisted and to kind of bundle together a little bit. Just going to stick them up under the elastic. And when I get all the black ones all lined up, then I was going to do the same to the purple, and I was going to layer the purple in front the exact same way. So I've got about 40 of these little things to put on here. But that is all I'm going to do. So I will be back when I get these when I get the black ones put on, because it's going to take me a few minutes to get all these put back on. And I hadn't decided if I was going to glue these down or not quite yet. First I'm not going to. I just want to get the placement of them. I just want to make sure they're all bunched and layered up. So all these ones here, I've got them all ready. These were kind of stuck together. So I'm just going to stick them under the elastic at once. So it's not going to take too long to get this finished, but I will be back as soon as I get the black ones all put back on here.